Hello folks, sorry about that. Couldn't get the camera to work. I just love technology. Oh, and then we've got the odd thing here. Let me put that away. Sorry about that. So, good morning everyone and welcome to our Sunday special using scraps, which is what you can see I've got up on the shelf on the table here today. Just to let you know, for those of you who were with me on Wednesday, when you heard my tales of woe, thank you very much for all your lovely messages and sending best wishes. And just to say that Chris is now back home with his leg in plaster, having had 8 screws and 2 plates put in, and he's going to be a bit like that, I think, for about 6 to 8 weeks apparently. So there you go. Comes from playing football apparently, but third time you would have thought, wouldn't you? So let us make a start. Now, as I said, going to use up scraps and bits and pieces here today. So quite a different selection of various different things, depending on, oh, phone's gone mad. Depending on what sort of thing what colour ways you wanted to do it. Well, but I'm giving you the Couture Creations. Now, it's not a new die, so some of you may well have it. And if it is, it's good. Get your bits and pieces out of your stash there. But this one's called an ornamental lace die, and it's called Christmas Star. And it's 1 die. Very clever. Very pretty as well. And the special offer on it today is there's about almost 50% off it, plus you get a free embossing folder. The embossing folders will vary, but they are to go with this sort of selection here. Okay, so let's make a card out of it. So I'm going to choose a selection here, and I'm going to work with my 5x7 card. So my 5x7 blank is there, all ready to go. And when I say 5x7, I will just check it because I do like to just check it. I know I'm doing it in centimetres, but I prefer to work in centimetres, don't I? So it is 18 centimetres by not quite 13, so 12 and a half-ish. Yeah, 12 and a half. So 12 and a half by 18 is what I'm working with in terms of the measurements there. Now I'm going to choose, I've chosen all different bits here, but I'm actually going to go for the red sort of selection. But the idea is that you choose 4 colours or 4 shades. You can mix and match, obviously, but I've chosen 4 shades of the same colour range. So I'm going for my 4 pieces of reddy colour. They do look very similar, but I'm not going to put them right next to each other. So they're just scraps from my scrap box. Okay. We also need a couple of bits of white scrap as well. And we need 1 piece, which I've got here. Gosh, I've got loads of bits all over the place. Which is for the outside of my card here. So let us set up that first. So we had, as I said, our measurements were 12 and a half by 18. So I'm just going to trim this one down. So we're going to go, we'll try with 12 by, I better measure that. It's not got that there. 12 by, oops. 17 and a half. Let's see how that goes. So just measure that, trim that off. That should fit nicely within my card there. Okay, then I'm going to take a white piece. So basically it's 1 whole white piece there, and I'm going to cut that one down to 11 and a half. So I'm taking half a centimetre off each time, and I'm going down to 17. Again, I could be doing this on my bigger cutter, but not today, Jose, not today. So just trim that down so that that is for my base here. So that's going to go, whoops, in there like that. Okay. So then I'm going to have another piece in the center here. So the white piece here was 11 and a half wide. So I need a piece which is 11 and a half wide. So let's get that first. So 11.5. And then I'm going to go with, let me think. I'm going to go with by 10. Okay, so it's 11.5 by 10. And the reason why I want 10 is I'm going to have 4 2.5 centimetre widths along here. So it's by an inch basically, because I'm going to use this as a base card here. So let's see what we've got left over. Now, have we got an inch or a 2.5 centimetres? There, we have indeed. So let's trim that down. So that's 2.5 centimetres for this little one. So again, just a little tiny strip. And that's going to be by 11.5. So that's one piece. I'll take this other red piece. Let's see if that's 11.5 that way. Yeah, we can get away with that. So 11.5 by 2.5. And with these pieces, 11.5 by 2.5. As I say, it's just a really good way of using up all your scrap pieces. In fact, we could tidy that bit up, and that could still be used for something else if I was being very careful, could it not? Now, these look really lovely, all different colourways, but I thought I'd go for the reddy pinky colour. So 4 pieces that are 2.5 centimetres by 11.5. Okay, and they are going to go directly onto my white base here, because I wanted some sort of a base. So I'm going to pop them in so that they are different colourways. And that's going to go on there, something like that. So let's pop them in. So I forgot to say hello to you whilst I was panicking over my over my blooming camera again. So welcome to you all. Catherine, Jenny, 2 Jennies. Teresa, Fiona, Anne, Joe. Hope the cat's watching, Joe. Val. All you lovely people. So bit of glue there. Just putting that on edge to edge. So as I said, in the different colourways, this can look very different. I've done a blue one, which I will show you very shortly. And I've also got ready to do green and whatever you happen to have left over. Must admit, who keeps the scraps? I don't keep them very much now. I keep one box, but I don't keep as much as I used to. When I first started crafting, I used to have a whole, well, first of all, it was like a plastic wallet, and then it went to a plastic box, and then it went to virtually a trolley full of just the scraps that I use. And to be honest, I kept forgetting to use them. So subsequently, I'm not a very good person like that. So I tend to not keep very much scrap. I keep scrap of sort of silver and golds and all the lovely, really posh, more expensive card, to be honest with you, but not so much of my little scrap pieces. Just a few bits, just a few. So I'm just going to put, excuse me, put all these layers together so that I have got the basis of my card there. Okay, so as I said, 5 by 7 card. So now here is my lovely piece. I've got some linen card on there, so different textures already, except that I'm going to pop it through the embossing folder. So this one is the bubble embossing folder. that you will receive either bubble or star, just a random selection. So I'm going to pop this through my machine. Whoops. Hold on. That didn't come out as well as I wanted it to, so let me put the proper plates in. When in doubt, put the proper plates in, I say, don't you? That's better. So look, you can see you've got these beautiful bubbles. And although that's just an ordinary card, just scraps of card, it's now made that into something quite nice, I think, anyway. So it's given it another look. So that is going to go more or less in the middle of my card, giving me an illusion of different sort of layers and bits and pieces. I'm just going to pop a bead of glue on the back of this. And it's a bobbly background, so you'll need a little bit in the center there as well. So that's our embossing folder. And obviously that can be used at any embossing folder. But it's a nice generic sort of one. And the stars is a nice one as well. So there's our embossing folder. So now we get our lovely die out. And as I said, it is just one die. But if you have a look, I have already cut it out, but I haven't put all of the pieces out. So one piece of white and cut out into this. So I have got quite a selection to choose from. So I've got the inner star, and if you can see, it's also embossed it. I'm not sure if you can see that. It's embossed that in the center. Then got another 7-sided star and another 7-sided star, and then all this, which I must just poke out. So it's a really intricate, lots of different things. One die cutting out, what are we, 4 different things. So which I think is really quite nice. So I'm going to show you just a very simple way of putting it together, but because there are so many dies in there, you can obviously mix and match and do this however you wish. But I just thought that it lent itself to what I'm going to do with it today. Okay. So whilst I'm just doing this, let me just tell you a few things coming up. Don't forget, next Saturday is Silver Saturday. No Black Friday here, it's Silver Saturday. And there will be mystery boxes back available, very limited, so do get onto those. I think we're doing 9 o'clock start rather than a 8 o'clock in the morning, because although it'll probably be up by then, and it'll all go live then, gives some chance for other people to go. So 9 o'clock on Saturday, next Saturday, which is the 28th, will be the Silver Saturday sale over on the Maximum Crafts website. Lots of bits and pieces there. It is more, I have to say, a Christmassy sale, but there will be other items there as well. So that's something to look out for. I will be back on YouTube Live on this coming Wednesday. So there will be another YouTube Live, probably revisiting an older die set or stamp set, whichever, that we haven't done for quite some while. So that'll be this coming Wednesday. And then also, as you may have already seen, and some of you have already joined up for it, a very last minute, but an online workshop for next Saturday afternoon. So if you aren't busy and you want to join me, do go along and join. It's one of the ones that's done via Zoom. So it's done via an app, and it's you will get, I'll show you what you get in a second. You will get the dies and everything to work with it, and then you also get a video that's sent to you a YouTube video, private YouTube video, to be able to work on it afterwards, or if you prefer, do that in the first place. So here we go. Here goes my lovely star in the center, and I'm going to pick out, and grab hold of it, this one, which is going to go in the center there. Okay. So these two little treasures, I'm going to pop them to one side. Don't want them at the moment, so I'm just going to pop them to one side. We'll use them with something else afterwards. So how are we going to stick this on here? Now, I am going to turn it over, and you can see that you've got a sort of a border-ish around here, which would lend itself to having something on, either glue, but I'm going to pop a little bit of tape onto it, and I'm going to use my thin tape here, my sheet tape I should say, so that I can cut that thinly and pop that on just to lift it a little bit. I find that it gives quite a nice effect. Oh, by the way, power tape came back in stock again and went back out again. I've got it coming in again on Tuesday, when I will have the 3mm one as well as the 6mm. Well, hopefully I will, but unfortunately the 9mm one appears to be out of stock. It was on my, it didn't come in my delivery on Friday, so I'm hoping that it might be back in again, but watch out for that one. That's the 9mm wide one. So I did think that it was really good stuff, actually, I have to say. So just popping all these on. Whoops. So I hope, in all honesty, although this is a Christmas card, I do hope that you are getting your act together, folks. And I hope you're nearly Christmased out. You haven't got long to go now. I think it's 5 weeks, isn't it? Something like that. So if you haven't done now, you really need to get going, because otherwise Christmas will be here and gone. I must admit, we almost wish it would be, but yeah. So I think that'll probably be enough to put it on more or less every other one. That's went a bit mad in places. So just popping that onto there. In fact, I think I need one there though, else it might not go right, mightn't it? Let's just put one up on there. There we go. So just going to put a little bit of glue on these pieces here, just so that it gives it an extra chance to hold, not least for the fact that it's on, as I said, an uneven surface where I've done the embossing. And that is going to go centre. Now, because it's 7, there isn't necessarily a top or a bottom, but I'm going to put it on like that way. So I'm more or less centering it like that. Now I'm being fussy because I can see that the foam is poking out there, and I don't want it to. So, and then with this one, I'm going to pop this one directly. Oh, sorry, move the camera. Sorry. I'm going to put this one directly into the center, right onto the embossed surface. So I'm going to put my glue glaze on there so that it sticks quickly, and no foam, because I don't want this one to stick up. I want this one to go straight down. So I'm using the glue glaze because I want a quick grab, and I want a very strong glue on there. So that is why we're using it. And then I'm going to put a cheeky little sentiment on as well. So as I said, all using up, well, not all, but almost all using up scraps. So that's going to go directly into the center there. Just pop that down. Excuse me. Just pop that down so that that stays stuck. Okay, and then I'm going to get another little bit of white card left over. Tis a cute little tool, June. It is indeed. And I'm going to cut myself a little slither. So a sort of little slither like that. In terms of how big was it, probably about a centimetre, but it really didn't matter in that respect. So what I want to put now is a sentiment, and I've chosen one of the Sweet Poppy sets. Oh, if I can open it. A lot of the ladies that join me on the workshops will have this. There are a couple left if anyone else is interested. And I'm going to go for one of the thinner ones. So I'm going to go for Season's Greetings, I think. And I'm going to be popping that in the centre. Now, because it is a very thin piece, I could obviously use my stamping platform. And if anyone's at all worried about stamping and not sure and sort of think they might mess it up, the stamping platform has its uses, and it's brilliant. But when you're doing a thinner piece like this, sometimes you prefer not to do it like that. And so I'm going to use these, which I've just fallen in love with, really. These are the Crafts 2 acrylic blocks. And because I really use the stamping platform all the time, I can't say that I was particularly enamoured with needing to have such a thing. But when I got them, I realised how good they are, because they fit nicely because they're all wiggly. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, see, all wiggly edges. But also, hopefully you can see, it's got like a grid on it. And so therefore, I can pick up my stamp and I know that I've got it straight because I can straighten it, pop it against the lines of the acrylic block, which I think is very good. So because I've got red, I'm going to go with VersaFine Claire in Tulip Red. And I'm going to ink up my stamp. And I should really be doing it on a mat. So let's put it on there. And I'm going to go more or less in the middle. Let's see how this comes out. Look at that. Love it. Love it. And then, get this out of the way. That is going to go on the centre. And I'm just going to trim that down with a pair of scissors by popping, let's trim it down a little bit there, and let's just pop a little tail on it either side. Now, if I was organised, I could have got the shutter die set out, the one that was new last week from John Lockwood, because he has got some lovely little banners that are already in there. But was I organised? No, because I've only just thought about it. But there you go. I've managed to do it all on my own. So there's my little banner that's going to go on there. And in order to stick it on, I'm going to get myself a little bit of tape, foam tape, but I'm only going to stick it into the centre, because if I stick it on the whole length, it's going to sit completely proud and it's going to look a bit daft. So I only want it to be basically in the centre there, so that it is sitting like that. So it literally looks as if it's sitting on there. But of course, there's not much to grab if I stuck it just there. But if I put it onto some foam there, it will sit up there nicely. Okay, so there you go. There is a very quick card using up scraps, and all the different colorways will look, I will put them up later so that you can see them. You can see all the different colors on there. Okay, so let me just put these to one side and let me tell you what I was using again. So as I said, the offer today is for this lovely Christmas star from Couture Creations. Size of it is about 4 inches by 4 inches. So that's roughly what it is. The card that I've used is a 5x7, so you can get some sort of idea of gauge with it. You could also do the similar idea as this on a little 6x6 or 5x5. There's lots of scope for that, but the different layers, it looks sort of different, almost like patchwork. If you do some patterned paper, it can look just as if you've done patchwork. And I think they call this faux quilting, actually. I'm sure that's what we did some years ago. Let me just show you. So that's for today. And the workshop next week is the 28th of December, between 2 and 4. If you would prefer to watch via video, you can do that as well. And you will receive the Paper Boutique Little Kisses from the Heart die set and also the Creative Expressions Presents striplet. Okay, obviously all the cards and all the information that goes with it as well. Okay, so there are about 4 places left, so it is very limited, and I'm sorry about that already. I hope I haven't disappointed anyone. So I think that is all the information that I can give you today. So I do hope you've liked it. Did we like it? Yeah. Oh dear, got a frog in my throat. Well, I've got a fairly busy day today as well. So domestic goddess duties a little bit later, and we've got my dad coming over, so he's in our little bubble, so we like to look after him as well. So I hope you're all keeping well and keeping positive. I was going to say we're nearly there, but I'm not so sure that we're nearly there just yet, are we? But we've got to be surely nearly. Surely. So thank you very much for joining me today. If you like any of the things that you've seen, don't forget 3 things to do. The first thing is you could pop over to the maximumcrafts.com website and have a look, see if there's anything on there you fancy. All the products that I've used today are on the Facebook Live section, and so you can go and have a look on there. Secondly, if you haven't already, do subscribe to the YouTube channel so that you can see when I come up, and you would also be able to comment and have a little live chat if that's what you'd like to do. And thirdly, if you do subscribe, by the subscription button, there is also a little bell, and click on that, and then you'll be notified not only by Facebook, but also by YouTube to tell you when there's going to be another YouTube video coming on. Okay, that is all the information you need. Don't forget to put in your diary for Silver Saturday, next Saturday, the 28th, starting at 9 a.m. But otherwise, have a great weekend, and I will see you on Wednesday morning at 11 o'clock. Thank you very much for joining me, everybody. Cheerio.